Do you want to get ahead in life? Feel like life's got you down and you should really be coasting by on your husband's accomplishments? Well, how can you? Well, introducing a brand new product you're going to need and love. It's called Hillary Clinton. It lets you feel a sense of massive entitlement you've never felt before. So with just a few applications of Hillary Clinton, you too can be uncharismatic, unlikable, and completely unpalatable. Just go to www.satan.com/Daniel and send the Dark Lord all your principles in exchange for some Saudi money, and you too can be like Hillary Clinton. It works absolute wonders. Call now and we'll throw in a free copy of your next book you're going to write, What Happened? Why Didn't This Product Work For Me? So again, I never advertise a product I don't use myself. I've been using Hillary Clinton for 3.5 months now, and already 2 of my acquaintances have disappeared mysteriously. Snitches.
In a world gone mad, only one man, okay, maybe more, had the courage to ramble on incoherently. The show is up and the reviews are in. This is the show that many people have described as good. Uninterrupted, Wednesday nights on Tag TV.
We're good? Okay. Welcome and happy Canada Day long weekend to everyone celebrating. I hope you had a fun time in the sun. And to our American friends watching, happy July the 4th, the day we commemorate the time that George Washington did a backflip over a bunch of Hessian troops, thus punching Cornwallis in the face, ending the war, which was then declared when Thomas Jefferson kicked William Howe so hard in the nuts, they shot out his ass, creating the first fireworks in what is now known as the Declaration of Independence, creating the country to our south, America. Or at least that's what I know, because all the textbooks here are made in Texas, and I'm not going to Google that. So, happy Independence Day to our southern neighbors, happy Canada Day to our northern friends, and to anyone else celebrating anything, I don't really care, because it's July and it's too hot. So, tonight, is it the night that I fall out of grace with the Conservative Party of Canada? Maybe, but who cares, because they're now infested with the Muslim Brotherhood. We will go into all their antics now, as every major party in Canada is now fully in bed with the Muslim Brotherhood. There is no major political party that will, I'm not even saying stand up, but will not full out embrace and get into bed with the Muslim Brotherhood. I will go into everything you need to know. Also, if you want more, there is a clip in the description, so either above or below, depending on the platform you're on. You're a big boy. You'll figure it out. Sorry for assuming your genders, but there's only 87 of them, so I can't, I got a 1% chance. Then we will go into Antifa attacks, and I was going to give the journalistic community an approving, C-. But then they had to be journalists, or CNN. So we'll go into what happened with Antifa. We also have the Democratic debate. Oh, goody. Thank God for the Democratic Party debates, because who needs abortions more than men? Free abortions for men, because it's 2019. And Justin Trudeau, the world's most competent leader, gets us into trouble with China. And as we will see, oh, Justin Trudeau, that basically sums up our entire foreign policy over the last 4 years. So we'll get into his failings on China and how they have really screwed over the country. And, well, anything else I feel like rambling about. Oh, also, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says some crazy things about the border. But we'll go into what she's saying and just how terrible she is. And I like her because she kind of proves how hypocritical most of the Trump criticism has been. But first, the main story, right here, where you will get nowhere else in Canadian media, is the Muslim Brotherhood has officially come to Canada. Woohoo. They're in the Conservative Party through and through. I was having a good time. If you were following the page, I got some information from people inside the party. Now, at least some people in the Conservative Party are very concerned about their relationship with the Muslim Brotherhood. From what I hear about the NDP is the NDP might be bigger Islamists than the Islamists. I think even the Muslim Brotherhood was surprised by how ferociously they were courted by the NDP. Because usually the Muslim Brotherhood tries to infiltrate. Instead, they were infiltrated. It's a very aggressive relationship. Very interesting. I mean, the Liberals just bent over. But Khaleed Rasheed, who is the Muslim Brotherhood rep from Mississauga East in Ontario Parliament. This is Doug Ford, the crazy conservative. He's basically Hitler. If you're kind of familiar with that rhetoric, that's what we have now in Ontario. He was promoted. I was hearing that he might get Deputy Whip. Thank you for the tweet. Here he is. I am pleased to announce that incredible House Office team, Government House Leader, Paul whatever his face, Chief Whip, what's his face, and Deputy House Leader, and Deputy Whip, is Khaleed Rasheed. So Khaleed Rasheed is a rookie MPP technically. And he is a rising star in the Conservative Party. So I am hearing rumblings that they love Khaleed Rasheed. Some people love him because he brings in more money than anyone. Where's the money coming from? Who knows? I know it's the Muslim Brotherhood. And how do I say this about Khaleed Rasheed? What are his ties to the Muslim Brotherhood? Well, if you remember, a few months ago, Khaleed Rasheed got up in Parliament and basically he thanked the Kazaz Foundation. So there's a clip in the description. You can watch it after we're done. Don't you leave me. Of Khaleed Rasheed. He gets up in the Ontario Parliament and he thanks the Kazaz Foundation and its leaders Khalid al-Kazaz and Sarah Atiyah. Now, Khalid al-Kazaz is a member of the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt. He was part of Mohammed Morsi's Muslim Brotherhood government. So this isn't like, oh, he's connected to this, and then this organization's director is the brother of this. It's like, no, he got up in Parliament and praised the work of Muslim Brotherhood member Khalid al-Kazaz. Now, Khalid al-Kazaz was foreign minister for Mohammed Morsi's Muslim Brotherhood government. And he was praised for three things by Khaleed Rasheed. One, his commitment to social justice, because what's more conservative than left-wing mumbo jumbo? I'll tell you what, commitment to the equity of outcome. Yes, he actually says equity of outcome, which if you're not familiar, that's literal communism. And then third was his commitment to democracy. If you remember the Muslim Brotherhood government, what did they do when they got in power? Oh, something about democracy. Oh, right! Banned other political parties! Just like the greatest democratic institutions ever know. So that's what we're praising. His commitment to left-wing mumbo-jumbo, literal communism, and democracy by banning democracy. Because everyone loves banning democracy. So that is Khalid al-Kazaz. His wife, Sarah Atiyah. So the Atiyah family is someone you should also know. They are the main Muslim Brotherhood family, or allegedly, in Canada. So Sarah Atiyah married a Muslim Brotherhood member, Khalid al-Kazaz, moved to Egypt because she said Egypt represents her values, is a better place to raise her children than Canada. That was under Stephen Harper versus the Muslim Brotherhood. Because who has better values, Stephen Harper or the Muslim Brotherhood? Now, the father, Tani al-Atiyah, is on the board of Islamic Relief Canada. What a shocker. But he's also the executive director of Masjid Toronto. This is the mosque where, it's in the video I told you about, they get up there and they pray for the death of the Jews and the non-believers, and Allah slay them one by one, infidels, and humiliate the polytheists and the unbelievers, and cleanse the Al-Aqsa Mosque from the filth of the Jews. It's that mosque where the video came out. Funny enough, the executive director, Sarah Atiyah's father, got in front of the National Post, said this to the media in the open, that at that mosque, they follow the ideas and the values of the Muslim Brotherhood. Said that to the National Post. That's in the newspapers. That's not me saying, well, I got this. No, he's the executive director of a mosque that says it follows the values of the Muslim Brotherhood. That mosque is under the banner of the Muslim Association of Canada. Do not believe me? Go to their website. Just type in Muslim Association of Canada to Google. Click who are we? Click the first link, about us, and it will say, in paragraph 2, near the bottom, we run on the values of Hassan al-Banna. Who is he? Is he the founder of the Muslim Brotherhood? Yes, he is. It used to just flat out say Muslim Brotherhood, but then they are identified as a Muslim Brotherhood front group in Canadian Senate, in which case they're like, whoa, okay, that seems to be a bad thing. We want to slander the experts, so we'll just say we follow the values of the founder of the Muslim Brotherhood, not the actual Muslim Brotherhood. That should get by the censors. And to the liberals, it's worked. And now to the conservatives, because the conservatives are utter cowards and all they care about is votes and money. And that's what this guy Khaleed Rasheed's bringing in. So from what I hear, Khaleed Rasheed was brought into politics by Omar Al-Ghabra, the high-ranking liberal member in Trudeau's government. He pals around with the Atiyah family, who openly state they follow the values of the Muslim Brotherhood. The father said that. Sarah Atiyah married a Muslim Brotherhood member moved her family to Egypt. The son, if you watch the video I told you about where they're praying for the death of the Jews and non-believers, the guy right beside the imam praying is an Atiyah. Many photos with him with Khaleed Rasheed. So, this guy gets promoted, and it's solely because he could bring in money and he promises votes. Now, this is the provincial Conservatives, so maybe it's not the federal Conservatives. Maybe Andrew Scheer is strident and he's gonna fight extremism like it's a bunch of... I don't know what Andrew Scheer would fight. Maybe Andrew Scheer would fight the concept of interesting. Maybe Andrew Scheer will fend off the Muslim Brotherhood like he does a decent campaign. Might as well look at the Muslim Brotherhood and be like, that seems like something interesting that I should probably do. I'm gonna fight that. So, Salim Mansour, who I've talked about before, openly, I know him, I know people who are on campaign, I like him, he is a good man. He's also a Muslim, but he did the cardinal sin in Canada. Cardinal sin. What Salim Mansour did is he spoke out against radical Islam, spoke out against anti-Semitism, and spoke in favor of liberal Canadian values. I know. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Please don't tell me there are Muslims who love Canada, adopt Canadian values, ran away from Muslim Brotherhood figures and Islamists, and want to preserve Canada as a free nation. It's not like they're in this building right now. That would be a travesty. So the Conservative Party said, nope, we're blocking Salim Mansour. He's a Muslim, but some people might say that he's Islamophobic because he speaks out against radical Islam. I said this is why we can't have nice things. Tahir Agora, who runs Tag TV, was basically given the runaround by the Conservative Party. Wasn't allowed to run for them. Now he has to run for the PPC. Probably the same thing with Salim Mansour. So here's where we are. Do we prioritize, we need Muslim, we need diverse candidates, we need diversity, diverse? No. We need candidates who bring us no controversy from the media. The Conservative Party is its number one priority is moral cowardice. Number one. Number one priority is just be absolute cowards. So this is why we can't get, Muslim candidates who run on Canadian values. Instead, we get the Khaleed Rasheeds. We get the candidate in Toronto Danforth in the Federal Conservatives. He's from Pakistan. He's lived in Canada for 6 years. 6 years he's lived in Canada. You know what he did in 2018? He ran for Kathleen Wynne's Liberal Party. Lost that seat, then figured, you know what? I'll just join the Conservatives. Yeah, I'm sure he's dyed in the wool Conservative Party. These are the people we're letting run. And it's all because they're either afraid of being called Islamophobic, or they've been fully infiltrated by the Muslim Brotherhood, and the Muslim Brotherhood figures say, no, we can't have these guys be, all this money. We can't make money if these people are here. We promise you the Muslim vote. The problem is they're promising that to the Liberals and the NDP as well. So yeah, you'll get tons of crazy money coming in from Qatar. Woohoo! You'll get shadow money from the Gulf state radicals. Whoop-de-friggin-do. Is it worth it? Really, is it worth it? So, I used to say, when people would call Scheer Andrew Sharia, I'd say, hey, whoa, okay, pump the brakes. It's not, no, it's not Trudeau. There's a big difference. But now, I'm still on as of today, I'm still on the fact that, yeah, I'll probably vote Conservative, leave the party, then join Maxime Bernier's party because, we got to have principles. But, listen, Maxime Bernier is not going to win. He's not going to win, okay? He's not going to win. He'll 99.99999% chance they win 0 seats and then get ignored by the media. But I'm not going to blame anyone for voting for the PPC or for vote splitting or you're a Scheer. And, listen. Scheer and Trudeau aren't the same, and Maxime Bernier isn't a Trudeau puppet. But I get it if you're going to vote for Maxime Bernier. If you say, screw it, I know he's not going to win, but I just can't vote for this Conservative Party because what's conservative about them? Really? Oh yeah, axe the carbon tax. That's nice. Yeah, that's great. All in favor. You got me. But the amount of deals they made with the devil here, it's just too much. Please watch that thing. He gets up in the legislature, Khaleed Rasheed, praises a member of it's also important to talk about what the Kazaz Foundation does. He praises the Kazaz Foundation, which deals with non-English speaking immigrants and refugees and helps assimilate them to Canada. So we have a Muslim Brotherhood organization that deals with non-English speakers and teaches them about Canadian values. Do you really want to be propping up these organizations? Do you really think we can make these many deals with the devils? We can promote Muslim Brotherhood organizations talking to refugees? Like I talked about, even Bangladesh is a Muslim majority country. They won't let Islamic Relief talk to their refugees or give them money because they're afraid of extremism. But here in Canada, we have it so good, we think we can kick these issues down the road and down the road, down the road, down the road, and the bill will never come due. But it will. And you can't blame the Conservative members if there's a massive exodus from the party, because this is the people they're letting in. And it's not like he just did not get censored. I could understand that as just a term of pure cowardice. You just don't want to deal with the issues, Doug Ford. I just need to get the economy running again on all social issues. I'm going to, dig that hole, stick my head in the sand, and join Andrew Scheer. But to promote him, to reward this behavior, done. It's over. Right? And then we have actual liberal Muslims or conservative Muslims, Muslims who love Canada, who speak out against radical extremists, who speak out against the Islamists. And they're persona non grata in the party. We can't have them. We can't have any controversy in Andrew Scheer's Conservative Party, no. We are diet milk. And you know what? You know how we're going to get elected? Remember those commercials that didn't work 4 years ago? We're going to do the exact same thing. Yeah, that's right. We're going to reshoot those commercials from 4 years ago that failed then, and we're going to do them this time. Take that, Justin Trudeau. Then we'll get in bed with the Muslim Brotherhood and all these special interest groups, and that will show them. Yeah, that's how we appeal to Canadians. Our Conservatives, listen. Stop talking to the Muslim Brotherhood. Get those commercials off the air. Instead of a bunch of people in a boardroom, oh, Trudeau, he's just never ready. How about a bunch of workers saying, oh, I'm busting my balls. I'm not making enough, but I have to pay a carbon tax? Yeah, that's right, Tom. That is bullshit. And how did Omar Carter get $10.5 million? This is totally unfair. Where's my money? I'm a veteran, and he's screwing me. End commercial. Trudeau dancing around in India. Incompetent. There, I just won you your stupid election. You can thank me later. Hey, at least I get to complain about Trudeau for 4 more years. There we go. I'll see you all in 2023. Fucking idiots. Oh, they're so incompetent. Moving on. From one set of extremists to another set of extremists. Antifa! Oh boy. So, if you missed it, there is a journalist from Quillette editor, Andy Ngo, who is a gay Vietnamese man, so assaulting him is a homophobic and racist attack, unless you disagree with something he said once. So let's see what happened to him in Portland.
Yo! Fucking owned, bitch!
Seems reasonable, right? Totally a reasonable reaction to someone existing. Now, I remember a time, long ago, somewhere about a year, the last 1 to 3 years. I know most people aren't that old, and most people don't have the cognitive abilities of a standard 3-year-old, but there was a time when the media was inflamed because journalism is the most important thing in the world. The Washington Post and the New York Times are literally keeping the darkness at bay. Journalists are standing up to Trump to expose you to the truth. Literally heroes, more brave than anyone in Iraq or Afghanistan, or those pussies who stormed the beaches of Normandy. We have journalists at the New York Times writing articles about periods and gender dysphoria. Who knows what we're doing, but it's heroic. And Donald Trump is inspiring hatred and violence against journalists. And if someone touches a journalist, hypothetically, because this hasn't happened yet, no conservatives assaulted journalists, but they're going to, because Donald Trump says mean things about CNN, the world will end as we know it. The world's going to end anyway in like 10 years, maybe 5 years or 3 years. We're all going to die of climate change, but that's later. But the world will end right now if Donald Trump says one more mean thing about me. Well, it turns out you can assault a journalist in broad daylight and no one really cares. Now, I was going to give the media a startling C- for their coverage of the Andy Ngo trial, because it was actually made it onto CNN. It made it onto CNN, which was nice. It was good that CNN covered this. He got an interview. They asked him some questions. Now, it was totally biased, and they didn't really cover it more, but at least it made it onto the mainstream media. But then, less than an hour before this show hits the air, I have to see tweets like this from journalists. Here's Chris Hayes, who has a very popular show on MSNBC. As far as I can tell, GOP politicians today seem most invested in 1, shoe company designs, and 2, Portland municipal politics. Oh, it's just conservatives being so outraged because someone assaulted a journalist in broad daylight and the police did nothing about it. Yeah, imagine that. That conservatives didn't really care when Trump was just saying random things or making jokes about CNN. They didn't think that was violence. But conservatives actually got concerned and angry when actual violence took hold. So Chris Hayes' view, making fun of him is tantamount to inspiring assault. But actually assaulting journalists is no big deal, right? It's like the real bad thing about the Holocaust wasn't that Hitler murdered 6 million Jews and 5 million other ethnic minorities. You know, we can live with all the mass slaughter. The real bad thing is Hitler said he wanted to commit a genocide. That's what's bad, because it hurt the Jews' feelings. Could you imagine a more absurd argument than that? Yet that is the Chris Hayes line of thinking. Now, again, full marks, C- to CNN for their covering of this. Now, they brushed on the rug, but as we get further and further and further from the actual incident, the coverage gets worse and worse and worse and worse. So Vox, which allegedly is a news site, here's an article called "The Assault on Conservative Journalist Andy Ngo Explained Poorly by an Idiot." The subtitle is "An Unjustifiable Attack and Subsequent Controversy Spotlighting the Militant Left-Wing Group Antifa." But watch me justify this attack. Unjustifiable, but hold my beer. The article is by Zach Lefty McStupidface. All right, this is a very, very long article. I read the whole thing. We'll just read the first couple paragraphs just so you know how Vox is treating this, because anyone with a brain can kind of see how this is going to turn out. Last Saturday, the far-right Proud Boys group held a rally in Portland, Oregon. Left-wing groups, including the Portland branch of the militant Antifa group, put together a counter-protest, whose attendees clashed with the Proud Boys. But the most notable instance of violence had nothing to do with the Proud Boys. It was an attack by counter-protesters on conservative journalist Andy Ngo that reportedly sent him to a hospital. All right, notice how the Proud Boys are a far-right group, but Antifa is not far-left. Imagine that. The people who wear balaclavas, black masks, and assault people with either bite locks or fists. Imagine that. Imagine they're not far-left. Footage captured by, and also, Andy Ngo is not really conservative. He works for Colette, which is sort of anti-political correctness. It's disaffected liberals, really, or defectors from the left, stateless liberals, illegal liberals, migrant crisis. So I know there's a great analogy in there. I failed, but this goes off the top. So you come up with a better analogy or better clever saying, and you write that down, and then you get all the credit and the glory. All right, in footage captured by Portland-based reporter Jim Ryan, demonstrators doused Ngo in milkshake, punched him, and yelled at him. In short, it looks like an unprovoked attack, unjustified, reprehensible assault on an observer, a journalist, merely because the protesters don't like him. But the aftermath of the attack, narratives both sides have spun out of basic facts and established by the footage, is much trickier to assess. Is it really that tricky? You saw the footage. There's a journalist. He was attacked by a mob of people. People punched him. People threw stuff at him. People kicked him. People sprayed him. He was assaulted by dozens of people. Then he was sent to the hospital with a brain hemorrhage. You would think that would be unjustifiable. Full stop. Antifa should be classified as a terrorist organization, at least, a domestic terrorist group. You would think that the Portland police should have intervened and stopped that. You think the Portland mayor shouldn't have given the stand-down order. But no. There's a much deeper, more complex story to be had. Now, I'm going to summarize the rest of the article because it's really long. Basically, Andy Ngo once wrote an opinion piece in the Wall Street Journal about the Islamization of Britain and how it's creating some social problems, which many people have done. It was, of course, debunked because there's nothing wrong with British integration of Muslims. 52% of British Muslims think that gays should be illegal. That's right. Over half of British Muslims surveyed in government data, this is the government of the UK, 52% of British Muslims, according to government statistics, believe homosexuality should be illegal. Throwing it out there. Might be some cultural differences. Might be some failure to integrate. I don't know. All the terrorist attacks, probably not good. All the pro-ISIS movements. Adem Chowdhury is a pretty big figure. Who knows? I'm just saying. So even to draw attention to this is Islamophobia. Right. Because, listen, terrorism isn't real. And remember, according to the left, Muslims aren't really people. I mean, they're humans, but they're not like the rest of us people. Because, listen, how can you expect a Muslim not to kill people if you say mean things? Honestly, how? I mean, Salman Rushdie wrote a book and millions of people tried to kill him, and that's Salman Rushdie's fault. He was wearing a short skirt. What did he expect? Now, obviously, this is hyperbole from my part, and of course Muslims are people. One of the biggest problems we have as a society is the left treating them like they're a bunch of babies. But this is essentially the argument that, all the terrorism, 9/11 happens. Listen, Muslims get sad sometimes, and people die. That's just how it is. You should know better. It's your fault. That's the general line we're taking on the whole Islam thing from the left, and And this because he points out that sometimes Muslims go boom. Of course you're going to get attacked. And he's being accused here of doxing an Antifa person. Because he had run-ins with them in the past because they assaulted him at a gym. So he should have known better. Again, Andy Ngo wearing a short skirt, that slut, he totally deserved it. This is essentially, it's unjustifiable, but honestly, I mean, he wrote a book, he wrote something that made Muslims sad, so of course, you're gonna... It's not like they have agency like the rest of humanity. So that's the general line from the left. And that's the narrative being put out by CNN. Either completely ignore it, or say it's unjustifiable. But, he does have opinions we don't like, so... Again, let's go to this axiom. So, this whole punch a Nazi thing, and that's indicative of not the mainstream media, but a lot of far-left media, like Carlos Maza, the Vox journalist who started the whole thing against Steven Crowder. He does have a tweet out there saying, assault them, milkshake them, humiliate them, and anyone who's on the punch a Nazi crew. And here's the thing with punching a Nazi. What happened to Andy Ngo could have killed him, right? He had a brain hemorrhage. Right? If you punch him and you assault him, right? What if he slips on that milkshake while you punch him and he slips, cracks his head, breaks his neck? Right? When you say it's okay to punch someone, you're ultimately saying it's okay if he might die. Now, it's not saying we should kill him, it's saying it's okay if he dies. Because if you're saying use physical violence, the potential for death is in there. Right? It's okay to use violence to physically defend yourself. Someone's trying to rob you or kill you or hurt one of your family members or hurt someone else, it's okay to punch them, using the violence to potentially end their life or to deter them primarily, but it might kill them in terms of self-defense. That's justifiable. But what we're essentially saying when it's punch a Nazi, and Andy Ngo is one of them, we're saying he has opinions that I disagree with, and they denigrate certain protected minorities, therefore it's okay if he dies. So that's the mental axiom we're using. So here's the syllogism, right? People have opinions that we don't like, that denigrate minorities, it's okay if those people die. So if you hold opinions that denigrate minorities, it's okay if you die. And is Islamophobic. Now, 52% of British Muslims think homosexuality should be illegal. That is an opinion that hurts gay feelings and potentially could lead to homophobia. Is it okay if 52% of Muslims die? 52% of British Muslims die? I say no. An opinion is not a justifiable reason to punch or kill someone. However, according to the logic of the punch a Nazi crowd, it's kind of okay if 52% of British Muslims die because they have bad views. Now, they would never admit that because then you say Islam, then, Muslims aren't people, they don't really have agency, and the reason why they hate gays is it's either Israel's fault or Trump's fault, or some conservative journalist wrote an opinion piece and it portrayed Muhammad negatively 200 years ago, therefore Muslims go boom. So, you're wrong. Thank you. At least we have this to look at. Oh, look at this. Look at this lovely man. Wow. And thanks to Andrew Scheer, we're going to get 4 more years of these clips. All right? 4 more years of that. Thanks, Andrew Scheer. What a fucking putz. Which one? Both of them. All right, let's cheer me up some more. All right, so you might have seen last week there was 2 sets of Donald Trump commercials broadcast on CNN and MSNBC. The name of these Trump commercials was the Democratic debates. And in these Trump commercials, we had some great moments at the Democratic debates. So let's just start off with clip number 1. What do Democratic candidates think about free health care for illegal immigrants?
Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants. Okay.
100% of them. Yeah, whose free healthcare plan would include all illegal immigrants? Around, yeah, sure. Who thinks Donald Trump should be elected in 2020? Really? Is this where the Democratic... I love the Democratic Party. Because... Where's the connect to the American people? Like, do you think that more than 50% of the American people are in favor of free health care for illegal immigrants? They don't pay any taxes, but we'll just give them free health care. Why not? Why not? No borders, free everything. What could go wrong? Who could possibly oppose free health care for illegal immigrants? That's not the best part. That is not the best part of the Trump commercial. Sorry, Democratic debates. Here's Julian Castro with a stunning and brave opinion. Can we play the clip of the most stunning and brave opinion of all time?
This one is for you. All of you on stage support a woman's right to an abortion. You all support some version of a government health care option. Would your plan cover abortion, Mr. Secretary?
Yes, it would. I don't believe only in reproductive freedom. I believe in reproductive justice. And what that means is that just because a woman, or let's also not forget someone in the trans community, a trans female, is poor, doesn't mean they shouldn't have the right to exercise that right to choose. And so I absolutely would cover the right to have an abortion.
I love it. Free abortions for people without uteruses. That's what we need. What do we want? Free abortions for who? Men. What? Thank you. This guy was he's a high-ranking Democratic member. This isn't some random off the street. This is not like some Bill de Blasio lunatic. This is... What? What? We need reproductive justice! I'm not talking about healthcare. I'm talking about health justice! Men need abortions. Women need abortions. Babies need abortions. Abortions for cows. Tree abortions. We have the right. Your trees have the right for abortions. Retroactive abortions. 4th trimester abortions for men. What the fuck are we talking about? Abortions for trans women. And listen, I don't want to be let's rag on the transgender community. But listen, transgender community, you already know this. Hello, left-wing people. Trans women are people who went from male to female. Males have X, Y chromosomes and no uterus. Listen. All right, Democratic candidates gather around. It's time we have to talk. So when the birds and the bees get together, they all want the honey. Basically, when a mommy loves a daddy, there's a penis and there's a vagina and it goes... okay. Women don't have penises. Men don't have vaginas. But men also don't have uteruses. When a woman ovulates, she has an egg, goes through the fallopian tubes into the uterus. Then it's fertilized by male sperm. That makes a zygote that blossoms into a fetus. It is then gestated in the uterus. You cannot have a baby without a uterus. You also cannot have a baby if you can't make eggs. You can switch your gender from male to female, cut off your bits, do the surgery. You still produce sperm and not eggs. Now it's okay, I'm libertarian, do what you want. But can we at least acknowledge that reality exists? Can the Democrats get their act together and realize, you know what? Maybe men can't have babies. Maybe. Crazy idea. Crazy idea. But maybe, just maybe, we should leave the having babies thing to the women and the not having babies things to the men. Is this racist, transphobic? Listen, I'm not transphobic, but it's clear that the Democratic Party and the left is reality-ophobic. They are reality-ophobes. Stark reality-ophobes. Trans women abortions, come on guys, come on! You know, one of the side effects of doing the transgender thing is most of them become infertile. If you get the surgeries. Okay. There's another point here, which is something that the Democrats do often in these debates, and another reason I showed you the Julian Castro debate, the clip was, he says, I'm not in favor of reproductive rights, I'm in favor of reproductive justice! Woo! No one knows what reproductive justice means, but Democrats and the left just love when you say, I'm not in favor of racial equality, I'm in favor of racial justice! Woo! I'm not in favor of immigration policy, I'm in pro of immigration justice! Woo! Be very skeptical when someone says they're in favor of justice when it doesn't apply to the judicial system. The only time you should be in favor of justice of any type is in the judicial system. I'm in favor of justice for everyone, which means you get what you deserve. If you did not commit that crime, if you're a black teenager and you're falsely accused of a crime, I believe you deserve justice. The justice would be a sorry, you're innocent, go free. That's justice. Now, if you're a whatever, if you're a gay Vietnamese conservative rabble-rousing journalist and you murder someone, I believe in justice, which means you go to jail for a long time. Justice. Yeah. Reproductive justice. I'm not just in favor of reproductive rights, reproductive justice. Whenever someone says, I'm not in favor of blank, whenever it's blank justice, it just means socialism. 99.9% of the times when justice is applied outside of the justice realm, it's another word for socialism. I'm not in favor of reproductive rights, I'm in favor of reproductive socialism. What does that mean? We'll figure it out later, but it sounds good. What in the world is, can we not have anything nice? Can I not? I mean, I don't want to be the conservative guy who gets up there. Like, everyone knows I'm pretty openly conservative. Right? I don't want to get up there and say, oh, the left are idiots. Look how stupid they are. When I talk to liberals in real life, they have good points. We agree on a lot of things. We just disagree on how to get there, and we get along in life, and most of them don't like this PC nonsense. Is it too hard to ask to have a left-wing leader who can say, men don't have babies, women have babies? Can we just say that someone without a uterus can't have a baby? Can we just all agree on that again? Can we just go back to the lovely time when everyone agreed that you need a sperm to fertilize an egg and a uterus to have a baby go through the birth canal, exit the vagina, or have a C-section, and that's how babies are born? Fuck, I'd even rather go on Costco. We will shoot down the stork. We will stork hunt. Well, I believe in reproductive justice, which means we're gonna go hunt some storks. Yeah, that'll be a much better answer. Freaking left. Speaking of crazy lefties, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and that schmuck. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was back in the news today because she has some pretty wacky claims. Now, I don't have any proof of what I'm about to say, but I am 99.9999999% sure that this is the absolute truth, what I'm about to say. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez does not have a mother and does not have a father. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was created in a lab experiment when some interns from Fox News and the Republican Party, as a joke, made a Democratic candidate cartoon. And their joke Democratic cartoon got into some accident where it was exposed to either gamma rays or cosmic radiation or some other plot device. There was an explosion, it mixed with a mannequin, and AOC popped out. I can't believe this is not a regular human being. I can't believe this was made by two human beings. This is a lab experiment gone wrong when a bunch of right-wing staffers created a Democratic Party congresswoman as a joke. It then took on sentience, and now we have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I'm 99% sure that's true. I don't have the proof yet. You just have to believe me, full stop, because that is what happened. I can think of no other explanation of how she got here. So the queen of saying random bullshit went down to the border, and now we have a controversy. Because AOC, they're saying she lied, she's saying she's not lying. She says some things that are just very, very, very hard for rational people to believe. So some of her claims are that she was abused and sexually harassed by Border Patrol agents, and she heard that women were forced to drink out of toilets there at her concentration camps or the detention centers. Now, this has been refuted by the Border Patrol agencies. Independent witnesses have said they saw them offer to give AOC a tour and she refused. Listen, I think the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. I think if we saw a full body camera of what happened in that event, it would be 2 hours, it would be very boring, and both sides would be able to say, look, see, I'm right, because they're... And then everyone would go into the little. So the left and the far left are fully convinced that the Nazis are running the border camps, and they are taking the women, and they are taking the children, and they are separating them, and they are beating them up and making them drink from the toilets. Then they are laughing maniacally, ha 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 ha. Then the Border Patrol agents, they go home, and then they annex the Sudetenland. Ha 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 ha. You know, good times. The left is fully convinced that that's a story, and the right says she's lying straight out. None of this happened. Now, I'm going to venture that Border Patrol agents are humans. They're probably underpaid and they're probably apathetic, and half of them really don't care about their jobs. They're just going through the motions like a lot of people at a lot of jobs, looking towards the clock. Which means they're probably not going, you know what, let's go abuse some migrants today. Are there, out of the tens of thousands of border patrons, are there maybe one or two sociopaths who like abusing people, who gravitate to jobs with authority? Yeah, maybe. But it doesn't represent the majority. Now, last week we talked about how this immigration crisis was completely constructed by the left, the media, and Democrats, just like AOC. AOC is one of the primary instigators and enablers of this conflict. She voted against the Democratic Party aid bill. She voted against the Republican Senate aid bill. AOC and her harpies, the Tlaibs, the Omars, they are on the not a single dollar to ICE. Right? They've taken such a radical position they will obstruct anything, even humanitarian aid. Right? Trump declared a border emergency. Trump's so stupid. There's no border emergency. It's all fake. Then when it's convenient for them, yeah, there's a border emergency. But very fast and loose with the truth. AOC's been lying. She actually had a great interview with Jake Tapper. Jake Tapper did a really good job of sort of pinning her down and saying, you say we should be spending money on these people, but you voted against both Democratic bills. So he caught AOC in the lies. And AOC is great because what she does is she has exposed the left. All the left theories, and there's a lot of never-Trumpers on the right who did this too. And I was like this in 2016, is I had concerns about Trump sort of denormalizing politics. I had concerns that what Trump was saying, his fast and loose approach to the truth, might create bad precedents, and it doesn't endure public trust. And public trust in the politician, there needs to be a certain decorum between the public and the elected office for normalcy, and Trump might ruin that. Now, I changed my mind on Trump once he got into office, and I evaluated him on what he was doing, not on what he was saying. But AOC has proven that none of this really mattered to the left ever. None of it mattered. So when Trump lies or just says random bullshit, okay, when he said, the Queen said she never had more fun than when she was with me, let me tell you, the Queen loves me, we're best friends, I'm her favorite president ever. Listen, even the most hardcore Trump fans, we probably know it's bullshit. He's bullshitting. He's just saying random bullshit because he's Trump. Now, there's a huge difference between the Queen loves me and everyone's a Nazi. The border patrol camps are abusing women and children. They're literal Nazis. They sexually harassed me and they're forcing women to drink out of toilets. This is the level of lying here is different. And AOC never apologizes. She's Trump. She's the worst parts of Trump magnified. Says random bullshit, lies consistently, doubles down, and attacks anyone who goes for the truth. So this hysteria over Trump has shown that, listen, there's this post history where the left is now lionizing John McCain because he stood up to Trump. I remember when John McCain was stupid, evil, and racist. I remember when Mitt Romney was stupid, evil, and racist. And anyone who supported McCain or Romney was stupid, evil, and racist. I remember those days. Right? But then the second they stood up to Trump, oh, no, they're not so bad. This whole revisionist history nonsense. AOC is all of Trump's worst qualities magnified plus socialist nonsense. And what they're asking for is the obstructionism here is ridiculous, and the inability for the real left to get these lunatics under control is a stunning indictment on Nancy Pelosi and the rest of the party. Because they're saying not a single dollar for ICE, right? So let's even take it to the truth. This is a ridiculous argument, right? Defund ICE. This is no border enforcement, no border policy, no border, no holding centers, no administrative centers, no processing centers, right? Nothing to do with immigration. No immigration enforcement or monitoring, right? Just rip up the entire border, complete open borders. Even worse, open borders with no paperwork, right? It's patently insane what they're doing. Abolish ICE, get rid of it, not even reform it. Right? Even Bernie Sanders tried. Well, maybe we should reform. We don't want to abolish it. We don't want to seem crazy. Bernie Sanders, we can't be coming off as crazy. Free everything. But then he relented. Yeah, abolish ICE. This is a ridiculous thing. The abolish ICE movement is the intellectual equivalent of saying this. Okay, we have a real big problem with hospitals because hospital-borne illnesses are one of the major causes of death in the Western world. That's true. Also, some doctors are big jerks. Also true. Therefore, we must abolish the healthcare system entirely. Ludicrous. Beyond belief. But that is the logic followed by the far left Democrats of AOC, Omar, and Tlaib. Omar and Tlaib, they're not Democrats. They're Islamist infiltrators. So the logic here is, there might be a few bad apples and we don't like how the policies run. Therefore, no more immigration system. No more immigration system. Open borders. Everyone comes in for free and everyone gets a bouquet and a piñata when they come in. Arriba. It's patently absurd. So that is where the Democratic Party is today. Out to lunch in La La Land. All right, now to Canada's prime idiot, the Prime Minister, sometimes called Little Potato. Yes, that is Justin Trudeau's actual nickname in China, the Little Potato. Here he is in between Chinese Premier Xi Jinping and, Brazilian president doesn't want to talk to him. Oh, that never gets old. Now, Canada's a pretty remarkable place under Justin Trudeau because China and America are having a trade war. And instead of, being with our best friends, the Americans, somehow we're on the bad side of both China and America. And it's even more astonishing when you think we're best friends with America, and Justin Trudeau said this about China when he was running for office. Let's go back to 2015.
There's a level of admiration I actually have for China. Because their basic dictatorship is allowing them to actually turn their economy around on a dime and say we need to go green as fast as we need to start investing in solar. I mean, there is a flexibility that I know Stephen Harper must dream about of having a dictatorship that he could do everything he wanted that I find quite interesting.
What a putz. And how do we buy this guy? Well, what's your favorite country? I really admire how China's, a dictatorship that abuses people because they build solar panels and stuff. And I've gone over this. China doesn't do any green innovation. The Chinese economy, its number one thing is just making random cheap plastic crap. Number two things is stealing Western technology. There's patents. The Chinese don't care about patents. They steal them. And it's like, look at all this green innovation coming out of China. No, that's all American, Canadians, and European companies. The Chinese are just stealing their designs, making crappier, cheaper versions of them, and then putting them to market. And look at all the green innovation China's doing, because China cares about the planet. Yes, yeah, I'm sure Xi Jinping is there like, we will plant trees. Plant trees. We plant a tree, and we take a Muslim and put him in a concentration camp, and then we take a tree and we plant it, then we build a road, and then we take a Muslim, we put him in a camp, and then we take another Muslim, and we plant him. Oops, it was supposed to be a tree, who cares? Communism, whoop. Heroes. True heroes. Stunning and brave. Now, Canada and China are in a bit of a war because the Chinese are mad that Canadians detained Chinese national Meng Wanzhou, who is a Huawei executive. Huawei is connected to the Chinese government because any major company in China is connected to the Chinese government. So we detained a high-ranking Chinese official. China then kidnapped 2 Canadians, high-ranking Canadians, and Trudeau's basic policy has been that is the official statement from the Prime Minister's office. But don't worry! Justin Trudeau has a crack team of foreign negotiators and MPs that will get our boys home. Let's just see what Justin Trudeau's team's up to right now. They're in China and they're, well, when in Beijing you drop by ice cream place, they're having fucking ice cream! This is the Minister of Business in Canada. She goes to Beijing so she could take pictures, just ice cream. When you're in China, you just have ice cream. Yeah, there's protests going in Hong Kong because they're trying to extradite all the freedom fighters. Ice cream. There's 2 Canadians detained by the government, you idiots. Incompetence. Stupid, stupid, stupid. What clown world is this? When in China, you either get detained by the government if you speak out, or you can have ice cream. I scream, you scream, we all scream because we're being detained by the Chinese government. Ha ha ha. Fucking idiots. This is... Get the Canadians home. When in Beijing, you stand up for liberal values and Western civilization and your fellow countrymen, and you tell the dictator, the basic dictatorship of China, hey, stop arresting our people, you assholes. And I see the Chinese point of view here, which is, you arrested a Chinese national, you should be corrupt and just let her go because special privileges. She's a Chinese national, and hey, we want her back. And their point is made legitimate because the next week after that, the SNC-Lavalin scandal hit, which is there have been multiple scandals where Trudeau has overruled the judicial system to hand out political favors for his friends. And the Chinese are basically saying, yeah, do that for me. There's no justice, there's no legitimate justice system in Canada. Screw it, throw justice out the window for us. Because you've been doing it for other people, do it for us. No, you're going to say no? We'll kidnap 2 Canadians. Oh, you're going to say no? You can't export canola to us anymore. Oh, you're still not doing it? Yeah, there's a problem with Canadian pork, so no meat imports from Canada anymore. Do we really think the Chinese government cares about meat quality? Do you really for a second think there's anyone in the Chinese government who's really, really concerned about the quality of pork from Canada? Raise your hands for free healthcare for illegal immigrants. Of course not. But they're humiliating the Canadians over and over and over again. And what does Trudeau do? It's just like Saudi Arabia. Does nothing. Just shows that he will bend over and bend over and bend over. There is no retributions. We need to ban Huawei now. Take Huawei off the networks. Fight back against the Chinese. If they're going to punch us, at least punch back. At least shows that there's some consequences to China doing this. Go on the world stage. Talk about the... You love calling everything Islamophobic. How about complaining about Muslims being put in actual concentration camps? Is that so hard? You love talking about how everyone hates Muslims and the world's so unfair to the Muslims. Can we at least talk about the millions of Muslims in concentration camps in China? No? Thank you. It's beyond absurd. This is beyond absurd. Ban Huawei, fight back. When you do nothing and you bend over, you send a message that it's okay to pile onto Canada. You can take shots at Canada. When Canada and Saudi Arabia got in a spat, Canada bought more foreign oil from Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia laid the hammer down, withdrew national, withdrew funding, withdrew everything from Canada. And who did the international community back? Saudi Arabia. Because there's consequences to going against Saudi Arabia. There are no consequences to going against Canada under Justin Trudeau. No consequences. So anyone can take a piss on Canada. We'll do nothing. There are zero repercussions. We won't call you out. We won't throw sanctions on you. We won't fight back. We will bend over and we will take it like a bunch of... It's so sad. Because I love this country. We have this putz running around in his daddy's diaper. This putz. Diversity is our strength. Diversity, 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 diversity. Maybe if we say diversity 8 million times, the Chinese will stop bullying us. So if you like the show, please like the page, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, please do whatever, share the videos because, you know, I don't think social media networks like me too much. But hey, you like me and I like me, and that's what's important. So, guys, this is going to be the end of the show. Maybe I'm going to give you my opinions. We'll do maybe a little bit of a rant on North Korea. Because what does North Korea, what's it with the North Korea? Like, why can't the left just be happy that North Korea is not threatening to blow up the world anymore? Right? Can't that be a win? Now, I don't think Trump's going to achieve peace with North Korea, but at least he's trying. Every president's kicked this down the can so many times. And North Korea, I love North Korea because they're the greatest argument against the UN. And everyone knows I love the United Nations because I love corruption, pedophilia, and dictators. No, wait, I don't like those things. So I do not like the UN. I like and dislike. Very, very confusing for me these days. So, North Korea is great because it's literally 1984 there. They have a system where like the dictator just comes on all the channels, and there's no better argument against the UN than North Korea. Why should I take the opinions of the Netherlands at the same level as the North Koreans? I think Canada should listen to the rest of the countries in the world. They shouldn't set policy, but hey, we're global marketplaces, global trade. I think we have things to learn from Norway or Sweden or the Netherlands or the United States or Chile. Right? There are countries that we could talk about. Hey, you do different things differently. You know, we do this differently. Let's learn from each other, help each other, trade with each other, make a better world. There are countries that we can stand on the same moral level with, right? Canada and the United States should talk. We can talk with South Korea, right? In the same moral plane. We can talk to South Korea, right? As friends and allies and equals. But don't tell me we have to do the same with North Korea. Don't tell me the North Koreans' opinion, the opinion of that fat little jackass, carries the same weight as the Americans or the French or the English. But that's what the UN is based on. The UN is based on saying Xi Jinping, who is putting the Muslims in the concentration camps, is on the exact same level morally as Canada. All right, so guys, again, like the page, subscribe to the page. We do this every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. And also, if you really like the show, I'm going to start doing more Thursday nights. So Thursday nights, because at 9 p.m., there's going to be special live episodes on specific topics. So tomorrow night, I'm going to do the first semi-official live broadcast, and that will all be about the different ways the Muslim Brotherhood has infiltrated Canadian politics. So next episode, we'll cover a bit of the update on Operation Kill Switch and the lawfare project, and it will also be about how well and how thoroughly Islamists have infiltrated Canadian politics. So if you want to tune in, that will be on the Facebook page Thursday night at 9 p.m. and I'll try and get it up on YouTube sometime the next week. All right, so thank you so much for watching. Uninterrupted is every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. and segment of Random Rambling Thursdays at 9. Have a happy Canada Day and happy 4th of July to our American friends. Yeehaw!
In a world gone mad, only one man, okay, maybe more, had the courage to ramble on incoherently. The show is up and the reviews are in. This is the show that many people have described as good. Uninterrupted, Wednesday nights on Tag TV.
We're good? Okay.